Hi friends, and welcome back to the Your Chess Analyze series. Today I've chosen a game with white playing the two knights against the Caro-Kann, and where black, especially at the lower level, is often getting their move orders wrong and confusing it for the classical mainline variation, which is what went wrong in this particular game. Also, if you want any of your games analyzed in this segment, do feel free to link me on chess.com, LeeChess, down below, or send me an email to Molton at 50movesmagazine.com. And I hope you stick around and enjoy this video. So if you're not sure what system to play against the Caro-Kann and you want something relatively simple, then the two knights is a very good variation. After the move either knight c3 or knight f3, what you can do is get into a very solid structure where often black will give up the bishop pair. After the move bishop to g4, which is most commonly played, we get the move pawn to h3, and black will often give this up, and you have a very easy position here with white with a very slight advantage. However, often the case is black will actually get confused with the variations and the move orders, because in the classical mainline you'll get something like this, where the bishop often comes out to f5 here, the knight will drop back, and we get this structure where white will play pawn to h4 and chase the bishop around, but the pawn is already on d4. Now if we go back to the actual game, after knight c3, black tried to do the same thing with pawn takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop to f5, but here it doesn't quite work. It's a little bit different if you try and play the same way. After knight g3, bishop g6, h4, h6, knight e5, and now if you play the move bishop h7, which is the most obvious move here, it's actually a serious mistake, and this has been played quite a lot. And white now can play a couple of moves, including queen f3, queen h5, but queen h5 is very strong here, forcing the move pawn to g6, which obviously locks in this bishop now on h7, which is a very bad piece. After the move queen f3, knight f6 was played, and white continually just hits this pawn on f7. After the move queen to b3, we have a double attack now. The move queen to d5, I believe, is met by queen takes b7 here, and white can actually sacrifice his knight in the center. So after queen takes e5, bishop to e2, we can see that black is losing this rook in the corner, and as far as I know, the queen is okay to escape. It might look something like this: queen a5, queen back, queen c7, trying to trap the white queen back there. But white has some resources here, like bishop f3. So the idea of bishop f3 was to threaten the pawn here on c6. For example, bishop here would be met by bishop takes on c6. Queen takes, we have queen takes knight. Knight takes d5, d4, and as far as I know, white should be okay on getting the piece out eventually. It will escape. So something like this, and the queen will get out safe and sound with a material advantage. So in the game, black played the move pawn to e6 instead, and we have queen takes b7, and now definitely black is lost here because the rook is hanging and the pawn on f7 is hanging, and not much to do to stop this. The knight went across, knight takes c6, and the queen now has no squares in order to defend the rook apart from queen to c8. And after the move queen to c8, white plays a very strong move here which wins material, and that is the move bishop to a6. So after bishop a6, the queen is trapped because it has no squares to go to. It's being attacked, so it has to capture, but now we see the rook in the corner is trapped. The game continued rook to d8, and white just has a huge material advantage here. So we have some trades with knight to e4, pawn goes to d4, f5, bishop d3, but we see this bishop is completely hemmed in. So capture here, knight takes. So get into a habit of not allowing your opponents to create weaknesses in your position and trade off your bishops if you can. So for example, after rook e1, king f6, white should have moved the bishop here, maybe to a6, or just simply back to f1 would have been okay. Of course, f4 is an inaccuracy here because it does weaken the position unnecessarily, so you don't want to play moves which weaken your position, even if you have like a huge material advantage here. And it's probably unnecessary to let black take this bishop on d3 and weaken our pawn structures. Even just developing our bishop here without weakening the pawns would have been better. But we have the move f4, takes, the rook goes across, and now white sort of gets the game under control. So we take control over the c file, of course, and pawn to d4. Probably unnecessary again to lose that h pawn, because we don't need to give black a pawn majority on the king side. But yeah, white is definitely winning here already. And yeah, picks up the rest of the pieces, and black will resign fairly soon. So overall, that was a very good game by white, and you can see that black can run into a lot of trouble if they get this line with two knights mixed up with the classical variation, because it is completely different and you shouldn't play this bishop f5 against it. Okay, I hope you learned something from this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.